may ask once we move to Q&A that I'm going to preemptively answer is how we're going to do this, because this is very complicated. It took us about 18 months to put online the state's checkbook. It took us a long time to develop how we were going to put the state's checkbook online. As some of you have heard me say, once we thought it was ready, we then learned from some of the other website launches across the country that it was important to then hire an outside company to come in and try to break it and penetrate it and ensure that it actually was ready for public use. As of today, we've had over 150,000 searches in ohiocheckbook.com, searching the state checkbook, the state spending information, and to date have not had any reports of inaccurate information or any problems with the website. Knock on wood, there's always tomorrow, but one of the things that we recognize is that the technology here is really one of the main obstacles. And one of the things we had going for us when we put the state's checkbook online was that the state of Ohio, the state agencies, were all on a uniform accounting system. Here in the state of Ohio, we have a uniform accounting system called OAKS, the Ohio Administrative Knowledge System. And so whether you're talking about our office, the state auditor's office, the EPA, the barber's board, the dental board, offices small, large, and everything in between, everything was on this Ohio Administrative Knowledge System uniform accounting network that allowed us to place everything on ohiocheckbook.com. With 3,900 local governments here in the state of Ohio, we have a large challenge in front of us because you have very large local governments like the City of Cleveland, City of Columbus, Lucas County, Mahoning County, and other large local government entities. And then you have small townships and villages with 100 people here, 200 people here, 300 people there. And then you have mid-range local governments in between, like the City of Findlay, for instance, which has about 41,000 people. Many of the larger local governments, whether they're cities, counties, or schools, are on their own sophisticated technology platforms or on very high-speed, complicated technology platforms, whereas, as I mentioned, some of the smaller townships and villages might be on very simple technology platforms or might be doing some of it by hand or with basic programs like Excel, Access, QuickBooks, what have you. And so with 3,900 local governments, including cities, counties, townships, schools, library districts, sewer districts, we assume that there's hundreds of different accounting systems out there. And that's something that we recognize here in the State Treasurer's Office we needed help navigating. And so we put out a public RFI asking companies throughout the United States to send in information to see if they can help our office with the technology side of helping onboard these local governments and get their information online. Our office went through an RFI process and selected a company called Govt. Govt is a company located in Silicon Valley, founded by tech leaders who've been involved at the tip of the spear with some of the companies in our country that help businesses and families operate in day-to-day activities. Works with hundreds of local governments all throughout the country right now, including major cities such as Minneapolis, Pittsburgh, and Miami, and also smaller ones throughout the country as well. The CEO of Govt flew out here from San Francisco today to join us at the press conference and open himself up to questions as well. Zach Bookman, before co-founding Govt, served as an advisor to United States Army General H.R. McMaster on the Transparency Task Force at the ISAF headquarters in Kabul, Afghanistan. He previously practiced trial litigation at Kecker and Van Nest in San Francisco and served as a law clerk to the Honorable Sandra Ikuda on the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Ninth Circuit. Zach was a Fulbright scholar, also studied corruption in Mexico, holds a J.D. from Yale Law School, an MPA from Harvard Kennedy School, and a B.A. from the University of Maryland. His company has technology workers there who have experience at companies including Yahoo, Salesforce.com, and Oracle. And our office had a committee and a process that reviewed the RFIs of multiple companies that put in information and chose Govt as the company that our office felt and this committee felt was the best partner to provide this for local governments throughout the state of Ohio. As far as the cost, we will know the cost better when we have an idea of how many local governments voluntarily choose to serve. But in large part, the cost is going to be determined based on how many local governments volunteer to put their information online. And so we plan on giving regular updates on the cost of this initiative. As you have questions, we encourage you as journalists and citizens throughout the state to, on a regular basis, ask our office the ongoing cost of the initiative. As I've mentioned, we plan on providing this at no cost to local governments. Over the past 4 years, during our first term in the Treasurer's Office, we voluntarily cut about $6 million from our budget, and we plan on using a fraction of those cost savings to pay to put the local governments online. And so here in the State Treasurer's Office, we are providing this as a service to the local governments and to the taxpayers. Without further ado,